All right, welcome to our podcast. This is number 3. We do have one pre-recorded, so that one in the beginning may say 3, but it's going to actually be 4 because we have some announcements and stuff we want to make with this podcast. So this one is going to be all about goals and New Year's resolutions, and of course, we always go off on a tangent. So let's just put that out there. We never stick with our stuff. It's kind of loosely based on whatever we say it's going to be.
Accurate.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Sorry, I'll space out for a second there. We're gonna start with our least favorite things about New Year's, but then we're gonna get back onto a positive note. So I'm gonna start with Maria, and we're gonna just talk about like what's the worst part of New Year's for you? Like what's the worst like hype thing, whatever for you at New Year's?
Well, you already said it. It's all the people at the gym.
Oh,
I mean,
fucking
and honestly, that's the whole reason why I had started going to the gym at like 3 o'clock in the morning is because I was tired of all the people, because my gym is small. I used to be a member at Lifetime Fitness, and then I was like, screw that. It's, I'm not going to pay $100 just to work out. Yeah. So I work out at Anytime Fitness now, and it's a real small gym. You've been there. It's a
yeah.
small gym, and if somebody's there, they're gonna it's frustrating because there's only like one of everything, and it's hard to actually do all that stuff. So that really ticks me off. Really, other than that, it's not much. I mean, besides everybody going on social media announcing their New Year's resolutions. Because I am not exactly happy about that. So yeah. I just kind of scroll off. So but first off, Heather's looking all nice and cute. I'm not. So I did not do my makeup today because it is Sunday and I am relaxing. And also I didn't get up at the crack of dawn like she did to do her makeup.
Yeah, I ran off 4
and
hours of sleep.
And I need to get a haircut, so
Um, Hello.
it's too long.
It's so fuzzy looking. I want to touch it.
It is. It is. I can't. I go like this all day, and Mark's just, will you quit doing that? Sorry.
That's amazing.
So, all
Is it
right,
my
your turn.
turn? Well, I 120 million percent agree about the gym thing. I am a member at 2 gyms, and it doesn't matter if there's 5,000 fucking machines or 2. It just sucks for the people who go all year. Like, that's stupid. I have a regimen, and now, okay, so for the next 6 weeks, you're going to show up, and then it's going to slowly die out, which is, like, number 2. Like, resolutions are fucking stupid. I don't agree with New Year's resolutions, which we're going to get into that in this podcast, like, deeper. But I don't agree with resolutions because what happens? We all go, oh my God, I'm going to change my life. Like, new year, new me, fuck yeah. And then, like, literally within 6 weeks, it's like, okay, I'm not going to go to the gym. Those cupcakes look really good. I'm not going, like, whatever. And I feel like it's always a weight loss, or it's always like a physical health thing. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to drink more water. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to bike to work. I'm going to walk around my neighborhood more often. I don't fucking know. What I find really interesting is, like, I don't ever, you can tell me your opinion on this, but like via the social medias where everyone is throwing up their resolutions, I never see anyone talk about like, I want my mental health to be better this year. I want to be a better human being this year. I want to be more regimented. I want to have, okay, maybe regimented. I will give some people that. But most of the time, it's just like, I just want to be hot this year. And I'm just like, dude, come on, man. There's got to be more to it. That's just how I feel. I don't know. Fine.
Okay. You're fine.
But yeah, so basically, yeah, the whole purpose of this podcast is my hatred for resolutions. I just don't like them. Like, they're obnoxious. It's something that we like we abandon so quickly. And that's why I am so big about like setting goals. And when you realize that something's fucked up, change it. Like, don't wait until January 1st. Don't wait until, the stars align just perfectly and the sun is shining out of your asshole. Like, just do it when you realize that there's a problem. Like, when I'm like, shit, I'm getting depressed, I'm like, personal development, more therapy, more sun. No, I'm kidding. I hate the sun. Clearly, I'm a fucking vampire. But like, it's like it doesn't always work. But at least I try. Like, you try and jump on it right away. I'm not gonna sit here and be depressed in October and be like, January's around the corner, I'm just gonna sleep till then. Like, no, that's not how it works. Maria can relate. That's why she's laughing. I'm
just a lot of things,
So, what
I've
about
been guilty of too? We all have.
Yeah.
But then we grow up.
Thank you. I feel like you reach, like, at some point, if you do, this is my opinion, this is not medically proven or psychologically proven, but in my opinion, if you, first of all, personal development is, like, so fucking important as a human being. Like, I can feel that. I'm fixing it. Personal development is just so important as a human because last I checked, like, you're not perfect, right? So, like,
well, nobody is, so.
Right. And that's what I mean. Like, nobody's perfect. So you should constantly be doing personal development in some way. And if you are doing personal development, then you also already know that this notion of new year, new me, that is bullshit because you know that you should be doing shit all year long to make yourself a better person, to grow whatever it is that you're working on, just to continue to keep moving forward and not be waiting till the 1st of January. Like, if you listen to Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, is Jesse Lee, like, anybody, they're going to be like, make goals and attack them. They're not going to be like, okay, I know it's September, so you can start thinking about those goals because in 4 months, we're going to start grinding hard. Oh, and then in February, you're going to abandon those. Have a great year. Deuces. Like, nobody says that.
No, they don't. They don't. You've got a point. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to adjust myself to where I'm not. Okay, you froze, Heather.
I froze?
Oh, you're back.
Okay. So.
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to adjust myself because I wanted to get my mic
into the gutter so fast.
No, Heather. Because I'm like, my mic was over here, and last time I noticed that when my mic was like way over there, you couldn't hear me very well, so it's not a side. That's what this. If for those of you on the YouTube, that's what the blue little knob is up here. Heather's is gonna be black because I'm getting her a pop filter to go with it.
Maria loves me. I almost burped when I said your name. Then I got stuck. I am such a lady. So I want to jump into, so we talked about we're going to like review, adjust, and make goals. Maria and I have spoken about this several times. So let's look at our year backwards.
I started reading a new book.
Oh, tell me about it.
Oh, I showed it to you.
Oh, yes.
I suggested, hang on, let me pull it up real quick. I suggested this book to Heather last year, and if you guys know, I read a lot of personal development books, and there are very few books that really, really resonate with me. One of them that did was Master Your Mean Girl, which is like a very, very good book. That like changed my life. That really did. My life. But also there is a certain book, and I know a lot of people have to know this book. I started listening to by Gary John Bishop, which is called Unfuck Yourself.
Love that book.
And yeah, I had introduced it to Heather, and I was like, "You've got to read this. This book is great because it's got this like no nonsense mentality, and he basically just tells you this is what you have to do." And sometimes I need that. I
Mm-hmm.
need that. And he came out with a follow up to that book. It's called "Stop Doing That Shit." And I started listening to it, and he makes it like it is and it came out. I'm looking at this. See, I have not been in Audible for this long because remember I said Memorial Day was when I all that crap happened and I really just started going sinking. It came out in May, so that's why I
Gotcha.
didn't really know, and I'm finally getting back into the swing of things. So, he makes it as like a companion to that. So, Unfuck Yourself was really about um, you know, trying to how do I explain it? Um, what you need to do to kind of get yourself out of the crap that you're doing to yourself, okay? And then stop doing that shit is finding out the reasons that you're doing it and making yourself stop because he's basically saying that um yeah, telling yourself who's
Sorry, my
that?
mom's leaving.
Oh.
I love you. Love you, Mom.
So he basically was saying that telling like if you have always been self-sabotaging, okay, say that you think yourself you're a loser, okay, that's what your brain says, you're a loser,
Mm-hmm.
and one day you're like, okay, I'm going to tell myself that I'm not. He goes, you don't magically just start thinking about that because subconsciously your brain knows something else. It knows that you're
Mm-hmm.
lying to yourself. So basically you've got to figure out why you think that in the first place, what triggered it, and then kind of go from there.
Okay.
And it's basically what steps you need to do to get to that point. Because
Okay.
he also says he also says at the beginning of the book that when you're listening to this book, don't think um, about your spouse or your child or your sibling or somebody that you want to fix, because you can't do that. Okay. This is all about yourself. He's talking to us. He's not talking to the person that you want to fix. So if you want them to be fixed, they need to start doing the work. But this is for you to do and for you to do the work. And you saw it on this end, and for you to do the work. So, and this was just like in the first two chapters. So I'm like loving this book. It's so good.
I'm
Plus, I also
stoked.
love his beautiful accent.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
He's got that Scottish accent.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Something real nice, real nice. Okay.
Irish. It's Irish. So,
I want to read it really bad. I'm reading Atomic Habits right now, and I'm really stoked about that one. I think I talked about it on our last one. Um, I think I talked about it on our last one. It's really good. Basically, it's just about building sustainable habits and making a better life for yourself. So I'm
oh,
digging that one.
cool.
I'll say I don't have as much detail, but yeah, I'm stoked on that.
Oh my
Hello.
God. He
I'm
has
like, oh
another one. It's called
my
Do the
gosh,
Work.
Maria's about to like go ham right now.
It came out in October. Ooh, I'm adding that.
I love it. Um, so I want to look at our year this year. I want to review. I want to reflect. I want to adjust. And I want to make goals. Sustainable goals, but goals nonetheless. Excuse me. I either burped in y'all's ear or I almost burped in y'all's ear. Not 100% of which happened.
Oh, look, mic's on.
Yeah, I know. I was like, hello. So I'm happy to start this one because that's not mine. PS, if anyone saw that, I don't drink anymore. Um, there's just a bottle in the way. So this year for me personally was a shit show. Like a legit shit show. I think that at some point I'm not going to speak about anyone else in my life. I'm going to speak about myself because it really comes down to what you allow in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And this year it's taken me until now to get to a point where I'm like, fuck the bullshit. I'm moving forward. So I just like, oh my God, the beginning of the year was so stressful and like I was very sad. And then I feel like as the year went on, I just like lost love for myself and I lost respect for myself.
Dang.
Yeah, and I like dropped boundaries and I accepted things that I shouldn't accept, like behavior that I shouldn't accept and treatment that I shouldn't accept from several people, and I accepted living a lifestyle that was not suitable or sustainable for me. I accepted a lack of care for myself, and like I go to therapy every week because girl is not trying to have a breakdown, although I did several times. However, like I would go to therapy, like my therapist, my last session with my therapist, she was like, you've talked about other people in your life every single session I've seen you. And she was like, I'm real stoked to get to know you next year. And I was
Right.
like, for some reason, like that really hit me because I'm like, I'm caring so much about what other people think, how
Mm-hmm.
other people feel, what other people want from me, and I like literally every session of therapy, my therapist is like, okay, well, you know what this person wants, and this person wants, and this person wants, and you know how these people are, and what this person's doing. Like, what does Heather want? And Heather was like, I don't know. Like she was like, what do you want? And I was like, oh, that's the problem, right? So I spent a lot of my
Mm-hmm.
years, like a lot of my year really conflicted and confused and like trying to stay true to myself, and I'm like, who the fuck is myself? Like, it has been a fucking roller coaster this year. But now we're getting to the end of the year and I decided that I was going to do things that served me for like a week. Well, and now that's continued. I was going to do things that served me and I was going to be happy. And so, in the last, and I'm glad that it happened at all this year. Um, I'd rather it happen at some point than not happen. Um, and yeah, sorry, I'm looking at the comments on the live. Um, but I started singing again and creating again. And Maria and I started this podcast because we miss doing podcasts. And like
Mm-hmm.
Maria and I both went through so much shit separately this year that like we've really not spoken very much. Like we both have like
Mm-mm.
this. We have like an unspoken understanding that like shit's going on. It's cool. Like we don't take it
Yeah.
personally. But like we haven't made time for the things that have, and I mean, I don't, you can tell me if I'm wrong on your part, but like I don't feel like either of us really made time for the things that
Mm-mm.
like made us happy this year. And
Mm-mm.
so
And
we're
it's
at this
changed a lot.
in
Like
such
a
a short
lot.
time now.
Yeah, because I mean, back then, and when you're happy, everything just falls into place. It falls into place. Doesn't mean you don't have to do the work. I mean that it falls into place. Okay, so like when I was happy, I was like 40 pounds to my goal weight. I mean, I was getting there. Um, my Instagram, my YouTube, all of that had started, well, my Instagram mainly because I didn't start my channel, but my Instagram and all of that just started, expanding. and you know, my business the same way because I'm independent makeup artist, all of that. And then one thing happens and all of that just went, I gained everything and then some back. Um,
Yep.
I was depressed. I stopped taking care of myself. Guys, when you are in this much anxiety, and anxiety can manifest itself as depression. Okay. So I did not shower on a regular basis. It just, everything just went downhill, and you could tell it with a lot of the recordings because I'm going through the recordings because I'm editing all of my stuff now. I'm going to start having uploads next week, but I'm editing all of my stuff now, and I'm like, oh my god, you look so unhappy. You look like you don't want to be here, like you don't want to do this. So there's like a lot of videos that I've done, and I'm like, I don't even want to show that. And then you get to my
Yeah.
Kylie Cosmetics, yeah, and then you get to my Kylie Cosmetics video, and I'm like, I like because I back out if it's like a one collection tutorial or one collection like review and tutorial, I'll just use that and I'll go out and do like my face stuff and everything separate off of camera, and I come back in, I like I turn the camera on and I'm sitting there dancing. I'm like, oh my god, you know,
I
'cause
love it.
such a good, yeah, such a good mood, and I'm starting to get back into that good place again. I'm starting to listen to my books again, and I'm getting creative, and like I have all these looks in my head, and I'm getting inspired about videos that I want to create and just new things and how I want to take what I want to take the direction of my channel in and my Instagram in, because I don't just want it to be about makeup, but then, you know, I want it to be mainly about beauty and all of that, but I want to do a little bit of commentary here and there and stuff on like, you know, brands, why I like them, brands, why I don't tend to gravitate towards them, things like that, that are more commentary than just doing a tutorial and things like that. So, I
Yeah.
mean, I have all this stuff in my head, and it's just, it's awesome. I'm loving it. And I'm finally starting to kind of pull myself out of there. And now is when I'm like, okay, I'm not eating everything in sight anymore. So,
Right.
you know, even though losing weight is hard work, that's coming naturally because when I had high anxiety and I was so upset after, you know, losing one of my best friends, um, I would try to stop gaining weight and start trying to lose again, but then I'm an emotional eater. I'm a binge eater. And so all of that, you know, kind of sabotaged everything. And now I'm actually to the point where I'm not just shoving things in my face. I'm actually, you know, no, I don't need that, or, you know, this and that. So it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
And when you start with the self-care and taking care of yourself, things just like that just come naturally. I mean, I started yoga again. There's this, the other program, it's a choreography program. Oh, geez, man. It's a choreography program, and it teaches you how to dance. It's not like, you know, the size and the country heat and things like that. It's not geared around fitness. It's actual, you know, choreographers, and they teach you to dance. And I have no rhythm, so, you know, it'd be nice. So I want to do that, and it's just exciting again. I want to get back into that, and then eventually I'll get back into the heavy weightlifting because, you know, I have to grow my ass. So
You say you have to grow your ass?
uh
Yo, okay, so just
huh.
because this is what we do. So I was at the gym today, and so first of all, my max weight went up 60 pounds. Well, okay, for my legs. And then I looked at my legs in the kitchen. Like I wasn't like I didn't have weight on me, nothing. I barely was like flexing them, and like, oh girl, the muscle in my thighs is like pow! Like,
It's awesome. I love powerlifting and weightlifting and all of that. I love it. That's like my thing to do. Cardio, I hate. I'll
oh
find a
yeah,
way to do it, but I hate it. But
yeah,
like lower body, I mean, seeing your muscle and seeing the definition. And that's the thing. What's funny is I weigh the same amount that I did wearing like a size 11 or size 12. Okay. I'm in a like two sizes uh higher, but I weigh the same amount, and it's because I was not working out, and now I've lost the muscle mass, and
Right.
I have fat there.
Right.
So, you know, muscle takes up less space.
Right. Well, fair.
Yeah.
So
So
I feel like acknowledging the problem is good, like what we just did. I feel like it's good. I feel like it's productive so long as you're not using like negative self-talk and being like,
mm.
I fucked up, I'm shitty. But like you acknowledge like something happened in my life. I was upset
Mm-hmm.
and my life took this turn and now I have to correct it. And I was like, I accepted things I shouldn't have, and I understand that. So that's another thing that you have to think about when you're reflecting, is reflecting in a way that isn't going to be detrimental to how you view yourself. Self-talk is so fucking important because who talks to you more than yourself, right? Like even just like the
Mm-hmm.
thoughts in your head. And so like um I catch myself, I'll be joking and I'm like, I'm such a fucking idiot. And then I'm like, but I know I'm not. And like I will make a
Mm-hmm.
point to remind myself like that I tell myself that I'm a good person more than I tell myself that I'm fucking up or I'm stupid.
Right.
Um so like when you reflect on your year, if you choose to do so with us, okay? Just keep that in mind. Like I statements are good, like taking responsibility without doing harm to I know what I'm trying to say. Like to your inner voice. Like don't let your inner voice beat you up. Acknowledge, accept, move on. It's like this is like mindfulness. Like you're not judging the thought, right? You're acknowledging it, accepting it, moving on. If you have a feeling about it, feel it, but don't do anything that's like crazy and not
That
productive.
that's right, Mike. That's right. That
That's
is
your
right.
exact. Okay, yeah. So Mike just said, my therapist asked me how I would talk to my daughter if she was sad and said I should talk to myself with the same amount of care and patience. And that's so real. Like they talk about that like when you feel like giving up, right? Like you wouldn't look at your kid at their soccer game and be like, you know what? Fuck it. You're obviously not going to do it. Just stop. Like go sit on the sideline. So why would you look at yourself and be like, fuck it. You're a failure. Like you didn't get it right the first time.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't reach your goal like when you planned on it. So you might as well just give up. Like I would never look at my child and say something like that. That's a one. If you have children, I feel like if you don't have kids, like that's a hard thought to put in your head. Like it's hard
Mm-hmm.
to grasp how that feels. But if you have kids, like that's a great thing. Or like, okay, if you don't have kids, like your best friend, would you look at your best friend and be like, hey, you're a failure. You should just give up. What? I would never. I look at Maria and I'm like, you beautiful bitch. If you don't get up and make content, I swear to God, you are too good to just lay there and not do anything. You deserve
you get
happiness and all the love in the world. Like,
you get pissed off at me when I talk negatively about myself. Oh my
I do. I get so mad. I'm like, you bitch, you beautiful bitch. Like, it's never like, wow, fuck you. It's like, you beautiful bitch, get up. It's like the endearing bitch, not like,
God.
But yeah,
That's
I
how we talk.
mean, yeah. And it's super real. Like, you have to do that. But then moving forward, I feel like before you can make goals, you have to have like proper expectations of like yourself and what you can handle. So like it would be an improper expectation, excuse me, for me to be like, I'm gonna make I can make $1 million this year, like I'm totally capable of that, and then sit down and go, my goal is to make $1 million this year. That's stupid. That's not going to
Yeah.
happen. And like I'm not saying that's stupid because I think I'm stupid. That's just it's not a realistic goal. So I wouldn't make that a goal. Um Sorry, I'm like distracted by my phone because this is what I do with my life. I was just
Oh,
gonna
it's
go
okay.
live.
I was too.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna go live on my regular page now, and then I was like, calm down, Heather. Um, but so I don't know about you, but for me, like before I can set goals, my expectations for myself are like I need to, like, I expect myself to only accept what I genuinely feel that I deserve. I expect myself to love myself enough to say no, if it doesn't serve me. I expect myself to dive into the things that make me happy and to do the things that make me happy, because my expectations of myself, just like anyone else, those are the most important expectations you can have. Like, it doesn't matter what your mom wants, what your dad wants, what your brother, sister, husband, wife, girlfriend, like, it doesn't matter what their expectations are, because they're not you, and you're the only person who has to live with you for the rest of your life.
Yep.
You need to sit down and think about, like, this is what I need from myself this year. And once you can establish what you're capable of for yourself, that's when you can start making reasonable goals. What are your expectations for yourself, Maria?
Mine? For what? For the year?
Just to set, like, before you can set up your goals, like, what do you expect from you to be able to set your goals? Does that make sense?
No.
Like,
Okay,
for me,
guys. A lot of things just kind of go over my head. You'll learn. Anyway, go ahead.
Before I can say, well, my goals are going to be this, like, my expectations need to be, like, self-love, being able to say no. Like, I expect myself to make time for the things I love. So I need to set those expectations before I can go, okay, so because I set the expectation that I'm going to make time, my goal will be to do X, Y, and Z. Does that make sense?
Right.
So, like, if I'm sitting here and saying my expectation is that I am going to love myself more and I'm going to only accept things that serve me, I can make the goal, whatever, goals of, like, these are the things I want to get done this year. These are the type of people I want in my life this year.
Right.
This is the kind of energy I'm accepting. Y'all can judge my energy, vibe, whatever lingo, but that's how I think about it. I'm a very universe kind of person. I'm like, I'm one with the universe, and the universe is one with me. I believe that what I put out, I get back. So,
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm the same way. Mainly self-care. I think that's really what I want to focus on this year, is getting back to where I was. And the only way to do that is to start doing my self-care again. Not to worry about everything, and more so worry about myself, because I'm going to have setbacks. I'm going to have people that don't like me to the detriment of myself, because I'm a people pleaser and I have to have everybody like me.
I feel
But
that.
I know I'm gonna have that, and I know that I cannot control other people's viewpoints and what other people need from my relationship. So that and that's what happened, guys. I've talked several times about me losing a really, really good friend. That good friend wanted something out of our friendship that I could not give to them. I could not. Well, I could, but I would not. Okay.
Right.
It's not. It would go against my values. It would go against, everything, and just kind of even more so destroy the life that I have right now, which I'm very, very happy with. I love my family. I love my partner, and that's just the way that it is. And this person wanted that, and my thing was I couldn't give that. That's just something that I couldn't give for myself. So
Yeah.
they just, all right. Friendship is not important. I'm going to leave you. Anyway, so I mean, I can't control what other people do. Yes, it's devastating. And yeah, I'm not saying that not to mourn things like that. Yeah, I can mourn things like that, but I can't let myself go downhill. I need to remind myself, if I see myself going in that direction, do the stuff that helps,
Yes.
and get back on track. Take time to mourn, yet, but take the time for the self-care and to make everything right in your mind. Because
Well,
if you quit the meditation and all of that,
it's
that's
like,
really
take the time to mourn, but don't become consumed in it.
exactly.
And I
Yeah.
think that in different ways, we both became consumed in different things this year that were just not productive for either one of us,
It completely changed me. It completely changed me. And when Heather talks about, we didn't really talk much, guys, we really didn't talk much. We
Yeah.
would go weeks without talking to each other. And, all of a sudden, I'll get a voice message or, I'll say something to Heather or, whatever. And there were times where she's ignored me. There were times when I've ignored her. And it's not really ignoring. We just see it, I know it's there, but we're just not in the right spot mentally and to deal with things like that. And what's funny is the thing is we're still best friends. We're still as close as ever.
Best
And
friends till the end.
and it just once everything finally cleared and we're like, okay, let's get this going again. And we're back on track and we talk to each other virtually every day now.
Yeah. I miss that.
I do too, and but that's the thing when you go into things like that, when you start sliding down, you basically put a bubble over yourself where you're ignoring everything and everyone, even your family.
It's terrible.
Oh, and one of the things that he talks about in this book, which kind of hit home because I'm like, yeah, that does hit home. When you're not caring or nurturing the relationships in your life, you eventually get to the point where you don't care. And it just kind of goes to the wayside and you lose that relationship.
It's like you isolate yourself.
Yeah. And that really hit home with me. I'm like, yeah, there's like even family members. There's some family members where I got to the point where I'm just like, not even gonna try anymore. And that's really sad. You don't want to get there. So yeah, that's a long-winded version of me saying that self-care is that's my expectation of myself this year. That's really what I want to focus on. And then of course my goals for the year is to be consistent, grow my social media, grow my YouTube channel, grow this podcast because this podcast is gonna
Dude, I know that it's not a lot of people, but compared to episode 1,
we went from 5 to 20.
it went up to 25, which I know doesn't sound like a lot to some people, but
this is a brand new podcast too, and we really don't have it's not like when a huge YouTuber starts a podcast and they automatically have thousands of people listening. It's growing, starting from the bottom. And yeah, we had five listeners, and then when I looked, the last time I looked, it was 20. So yeah, it's awesome, and we actually got change change from our little. I'm gonna need you to record that again because I listened to it and I was like, oh my god, I need to never do commercials.
Oh yeah, I'll do it. It's cool.
I hated it. I was like, oh god, I need to tell Heather to go in there and just re-record it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I can do that.
You can go in there and it'll tell you the bullet points that it wants you to hit.
Gotcha, girl.
So yeah, those are my goals. My expectation of myself is self-care. I want to be take care of myself. That's the main thing, is I want to take care of myself.
Yeah, that's good.
And everything else will follow.
Dude, okay. So I wrote this post. I'm going to read it to you guys. It's a gratitude post that I put on Instagram. And I tagged a lot of really dope-ass people in it because it's just really based on, like, how grateful I am for everyone in my life. But this is my post, and we're going to go into some goals. Said, I'm in the mood for some gratitude. My life has been a shit show this year. However, I refuse to let the bad outweigh the good. Especially in the recent weeks, I felt exceptionally empowered, humbled, grateful, whatever else you can think of. I've worked my ass off for my job, my side hustles, to support my friends and loved ones, to be the best mom I can be, and to be a kind and decent human being. Since graduating from hair school, I have made it my mission to put people first, not their dollars, but their humanity, their potential, their hearts, their families, and I've learned a lot. When you give good, you get good. When you focus on being successful, you attract those who desire the same success. When you put people first, you serve not only them, but also your own heart. When you focus on happiness over dollar signs, finances will fall into place if you give it time and always believe in yourself and your abilities. Tagged are some incredible people I've manifested into my life this year by constantly keeping myself in check to remain humble and on my mission, as well as humans that have continuously stood by me. Thank you for your knowledge, your kindness, the inspiration, and your energy. If you're tagging this photo, you've impacted me more than you can imagine this year, blah, blah, blah. So in that photo, I tagged, like, family. I tagged Maria, obviously, other stylists, some of the educators, some really dope people that I've gotten to meet this year, and I'm super grateful for meeting this year. But that's going to kind of, like, segue into my goals. So, like, the end of this year, I told Maria, and I've told a lot of people close to me, like, I feel like something big, like, I'm on the cusp of something big, and I don't know what it is. The energy coming my way is really fucking good. My business is growing. I'm getting a lot of validation in a passion I have not pursued in a long time, but, like, in music. So that's really fucking cool. I've manifested just some, and I'm not a big believer in, like, manifestation, like, for the way that a lot of people look at it. I look at it like I said, you give what you get, or you get what you give. I have attracted some really fucking amazing people into my life. And so because of that, it honestly, like, it showed me that, number one, when I focus on myself and my own happiness, a lot of good shit's gonna come my way. And when I do that with still my mission of putting other humans first and just being a humanist in general, like, good things are going to come my way. So I am a very specific goal maker, so I'm not going to, like, tell you guys. I also think, so this is just, like, my little tips and tricks on goals. I think it's important, like, some people can't do, like, out to 5 years, right? So let's just say you have a year. To do the whole year and then break your year down into, you know, quarterly, 6 months, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily, right? And that's really hard for some people to grasp, but, like, I have a content calendar behind me, right? And so if I look at it and I go, okay, I record my podcast this day, Maria edits it, it comes out this day. I want to do YouTube videos this day. I want to record content for YouTube this day. Like, that makes it so much easier than if I'm just like, okay, every week I need to do this. Like, that's daunting. But if I break it down daily and I have one task to achieve a day, content-wise, it's so doable. And the whole thing with any goal is consistency, right? So for me, I really want to build my brand as a stylist. I really just want to build my brand in general. I really, really want to, honestly, and this is, like, new. I really want to focus on music this year. Like, words, they don't happen. I don't know what to say. Like, I got super inspired, and then I started singing, and people were like, holy shit, you can sing? And I was like, oh yeah, I haven't done this in a while. And it was like a thing. So I'm definitely going to try and push music this year and maybe try and get back on some fucking instruments. I picked up my guitar last night and I was like, oh, that was a terrible idea. I haven't played in a long time. My health is always like, and my mental health are always things that I focus on. So those are not like, those aren't things that are new that I'm like, oh, I need to do this, because those are always things that I'm working on. But to be clear, okay, the reason I look at these things like goals and not resolutions are because they're things that I've already thought about working on and I'm already working on. I'm not waiting till January 1st. I've been working on my mental health for 6 fucking years. Like, I've been in therapy for almost 7 years. I've been in therapy. It'll be 7 years, March 15th or 18th, one of those. I will have been in therapy. My weight loss, I've been working on since last December 14th. My business, I've been working on since I got out of school. So, and that's why I don't feel like it's resolutions. I feel like it's taking the shit that you already do and then just figuring out like what went wrong and adjusting to figure out how to make it right. So, within goals, and Maria, can tell you this too, like within goals, you have to sit down and figure out, okay, like let's say my weight loss was a goal, right? And then last year I didn't lose the weight I wanted to lose, or I gained weight back. You have to sit down and look at it and go, okay, well, where did I mess up, right? So if I'm like, okay, well, I only went to the gym 1 day a week instead of 4 or 5 days a week like I was doing, when I first started working out, okay, well, then I need to adjust. And, even though it's still the same thing I've been doing, I need to do it differently, right? So, like, I want to be more consistent with my content. I want to be more consistent with my personal development. I want to be more consistent with my meditation. I want to be more consistent with teaching my daughter the importance of those things. This year, I really want to... I've been working on it a lot in 2019, for sure. But 2020, I really want to find Heather. Like, I've had some things pop up recently that I'm not ready to talk about on here, but like I've had some like really personal things pop up recently, and it's kind of throwing me through a loop, and it's heavy, and like it's fine, but I think I just need to learn how to I need to learn about myself more this year. And I like, you know what I mean? Like, you go through points in your life where like you've learned what makes you happy. You've learned what you want and where you're going. But sometimes there's just like, there's some missing element. Like, does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what it is. I think I need to be comfortable fully with who I am. Because at the moment, there's a couple people I can talk to about it, but there's not a lot. So that's a big goal for me. And that's something I've been working on for a long time. But now with this new little like fucking wrench thrown in the works, hello. Yeah, I want to work on that. And I might move in with Maria to do that. Just kidding.
Hey, come on over. We've been trying to... Okay, guys, we have been trying so hard to get her to move in. We have a spare bedroom. We have an entire beauty room. And Mark even said he will put plumbing in here and she can have her business in here. Yeah. in my little beauty room. And
well, they told me I could bring my daughter. Like, they are so fucking for real.
And I'm like, we've been trying, and of course, Heather has a family over there.
Do you know what's so funny? Like, so Mike and I, so Mike is my husband. Mike and I, we separated earlier this year. We're still cool. Like, we get along very well. We're good friends. It is what it is. But like, it was so funny because I actually talked to him about that, and I was like, so, we did, like, when everything was cool, like, we talked about going to Texas, and he was like, yeah. And I was like, I mean, like, the offer is still on the table, so we could go to Texas. And he was like, maybe.
See, yeah.
You never know. I mean, y'all might be getting, like, podcasts just in the same room, like, on the reg. What? Not from across the country. The fuck is that?
Right. YouTube videos. She'll be in my YouTube videos a lot.
I would love that. I would fucking love that. That'd be amazing. I forgot what I was. Oh, well, okay. So we talked about reflecting and where mistakes were made and how to fix them and goals. What are your highlights, Maria? Give me your 2019 highlights because, damn it, this whole year was not shit.
2019 highlights. What happened in 2019? Nothing.
You are so full of fucking shit.
Okay, so before I went insane and deleted my old Instagram account, I was growing followers. I mean, a lot. I had grown a lot. I started getting some PR. Things were going good. I was very consistent, all of that, and so that's a highlight. That was really really good. And then I went insane and deleted my account.
Oh my, okay, you did not go insane. Okay, so hold on, time out. Let's tell this from a different perspective real quick. Because Maria's like, I went insane. Maria did not go insane. Maria went through a difficult time, and sometimes you have to start over. Like, starting fresh is not a bad thing, Maria. Sometimes the fresh start is exactly what you need. Like, for real. Okay. On my personal face, or not Facebook, Instagram. So I have my stylist Instagram. I have 4 Instagram accounts. I have my stylist, my studio, my personal, and the podcast. So on my personal, like, or even on my Facebook, like, shit pops up and it's like your memories, or like, oh, look at this picture from that one time that you were happy with the way your life was before you lost your shit, right? So, like, I just stopped looking at it. I went on there to post my fucking... Yeah, I went on and I posted my transformation pictures because it would remind me of, like, things, and I'm sure that, like, even hair pictures, like, you saw, I redid my whole hair page, like, even hair pictures, I'd be like, oh man, when I did that girl's hair, this is going on in my life and everything was fine, and now my life's a shit show, and like, yeah,
and your life isn't a shit show.
No, sometimes you just have to, like, make a blank slate, man.
We all go through transitions, and honestly, there was a meaning behind it. One, I did it so that this person couldn't internet stalk me.
I really thought you were gonna say internet me, and I was like, yes.
But mainly because I was just so consumed with numbers and how posts were performing and things like that. And I wanted to get back to where I started, where I didn't really care about this stuff. And I know being on YouTube and being on Instagram, you've got to be concerned about that. But I want this to stay fun for me. I don't want this to be, and it is a job. It's a job, but I don't want this to never to get to the point where it's not fun. And I was to the point where it was not fun.
Right.
I mean, I went several weeks without creating a look or without even coming into my beauty room. And if you've seen this place, okay, it's like the makeup lover's dream.
Yeah, it's obnoxious.
So, yeah. So I mean, I didn't even want to do that anymore. What once calmed me, and I'd come in here and I would edit and do looks, and I mean, for hours and hours. I didn't even want to do that. All I wanted to do was be in the house and not even want to come out here. So I wanted to get back to being not so worried about things. But so yeah, I still do. I do content, and I do post pretty much daily now.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, and I'm doing IGTV. I put videos on my wall. I've started posting on my stories, which I've never been a huge person to post on my stories. So I'm trying to get into how that, because newsflash, guys, if you are not using every part of Instagram, your everything will go down.
Yes.
Engagement, everything will go down. So you need to be using every part of Instagram. Anyway, so I'm getting to the point where I'm being consistent, and it's so much fun for me again. And I'm like creating. I'm being the biggest thing is I'm being creative again, and my looks are showing in it. I'm getting to the point where I'm loving my looks. Like the look that I did with when we recorded the podcast number 4 coming out. Oh my gosh, I'm so in love with that. It's like that's my profile picture on my Facebook now because I seriously loved that. And it was at one point I was changing my Facebook picture all like every week because I was doing looks that I was so in love with, and I got to the point where I just did not touch it because I was not happy with it. And that's the thing. Sometimes you just need that clean slate, get back to the beginning. And I grew my numbers once before, I can do it again. So.
Well, and I think that like I know I always fucking reference Gary Vee, but I love Gary Vee. But like he tells people like I had 2 likes at one point. Like, and then like I love his videos because he'll like show a screenshot of a post that had 2 likes on it from a bajillion years ago. And I think that we get way too wrapped up in numbers, we get way too wrapped up in likes and followers and whatever when we're consistent because it makes us happy, like all that shit falls into place. When we're being consistent because, okay, it's like being like, okay, well, I have to post something today because I have to be consistent. So I have to do this, da da da. And then like you might post shit because you're not doing it for the right reason. But I feel like, right. But when you make it a goal every day to do your makeup and be consistent with doing that because it makes you feel good, and I know it makes you feel good. When you're like, I'm going to do this every day because it makes me feel good, and then you're like, oh shit, I can create content, that makes me feel good. Oh shit, I can put out content and that makes me feel good. I can edit content and that, you know what I'm saying? Like, then the numbers just happen because you're creating shit straight out of your passion and out of what makes you happy, not out of, well, I have to post this today. Like, there was a time where I remember, like, this year that Maria was like, okay, well, I have to do a look because I have to post. And I was like, that's weird. Because I was just so used to Maria sending me a picture and being like, look at my face, bitch, beat. And I was like, oh, damn. Like, I always write her, I'm like, hottie Bugatti. But, like, there was a point in time where it wasn't like, damn, look at my look. And it was more like, I have to post something, so I have to do my makeup. And I was like, are you good? Like, like if I don't have... Well, now I'm at the point where it's like, if I don't have hair to post, I don't have hair to post. Like, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
And nowadays when I'm to the point where I'm like, where I think that I never want to get to the point where I'm like, I have to do this. So a lot of times, and you'll see this with my Instagram feeds, like a lot of times I do multiple things. Like I take a picture with the of just the eye look of it up close. And then I'll take a full look picture, and then I will record a video. And because I talk a lot and it goes over a minute, I always put that on.
You talk a lot?
Shut up. I always put that on IGTV. I mean, it's not what I used to, because I did used to put tutorials and stuff on IGTV, and I kind of want to get back to that because that was very fun. Because a lot of people and tutorials do a lot better on IG too. So yeah, and then like so right there and then I have 3 days worth of content. If I go a day that I'm like editing, and I don't have anything to put, I have something to post. I do have something to post. I don't have to, worry about I have to have this and I have to have this. And I didn't used to take product photos, but I do now because a lot of people like seeing, and I get excited. Used to take pictures of things and send them to Heather all the time, but now I just actually, I take time and do swatches and take time to get a good angle of the product and everything. And, there's content right there. It doesn't always have to be like a makeup look. Plus, I'll put little snippets of my life in there, like my pigs and, things like that. So, I mean, make it fun, make it to where it's not like, oh my God, I have to do this, because she's right. When it came to that, I was like,
She was done.
I was done.
Yeah.
I was pretty much
I could
done.
tell you were done.
Yeah. And then I would go weeks without posting. So, I always strategize now. I have a strategy.
I am super proud of you for getting back up. I think that's like the hardest part sometimes. But I think
and
that
admitting it to yourself that you need to do something about it.
Yeah. I think that also like taking time to sit down and force your friends to look at the fucking good things that happened this year. I think that sometimes that's important. Like I all year have been like, my life is a shit show. This year sucks. Like, fuck 2019. 2020 is going to be different. And as much as I hate to quote a goddamn meme, like, it's not going to be different unless you change something, right? So that's why I was like, fuck it. We're going to make change now, because I'm tired of just like pitying myself and setting myself up for all this self-sabotage. Like, it's just obnoxious, right? So, my highlights. I actually, when I think about it, my year was not a shit show. Like, I graduated from
A
school.
lot of good things happen. Yeah.
I did. I really did. Like, I was like, this year sucked, but like, in the course of 9 months, not even, I graduated from school. I went to a bomb ass hair show and met a lot of really cool stylists who are just fucking beyond talented, and I probably took at least 30 classes this year between the show and just classes, in my area. Met some really amazing educators. I started to build my brand. I started my own business. Like, that's pretty dope. I met I've met some really cool people this year. Like, honestly, I feel like the people, and this is why I'm always like, people first, right? Because I have brought so much good energy into my life, dude. Like, the educators I've met are so like selfless and just amazing human beings. I'm not like tooting my own horn here. It's just, this is what I do. I go to the women's center once a month and cut hair, and I've met some really amazing women. Like, we went on Thanksgiving, and you just meet these really amazing fucking women who like are so kind, and it's like I feel sad for their circumstances, but like, just being able to give them something that makes them feel beautiful is amazing. And then like, I've met now like people through fucking TikTok. I've met really cool creators on TikTok. And we were lucky enough to have one of them come on our show, which was really cool. Like, it's really been a solid year. Like, that's why, like, in that post I read earlier, I was like, I'm not gonna let the bad outweigh the good, because the bad is a bunch of little shit that just piles up, but like the good is
honestly,
huge.
Yeah, it's like I said, or like I was, it was one thing, and I'm sitting there going, it's one thing, and it's one thing that turned my attitude like completely upside down, that made all of this stuff, just happen. Had I gone on the course that I was and just stuck with it, everything would be in completely different place. And I'm like, and I'm telling myself, I'm not even going to dwell on that. I'm just going to go to the point where I'm going to make content again. I am going to be consistent again, and I'm going to make a schedule for myself. Because if I don't do that, then nothing's going to happen. So, it's the follow through. But yeah, I mean, and like you say, guys, that was one thing. And I keep saying, and I keep dwelling on that, and keep with like, oh, it was horrible, but it wasn't. I mean, Mark got a promotion, like a big promotion this year. And half the shit that I have, I wouldn't have had that not happened. And I found a way that I'm able to make money to support my right now it's a hobby, but my career. And I'm doing that, and not I'm also being able to take care of my children, to be home and take care of my children and be there for my children, especially when they're going into high school, where this is like the most important time that your
Mm-hmm.
kids really need you. um, and I'm able to do all of that stuff, and I'm able to, if something happens that things need to get taken care of, I'm home, I can take care of that when I need to. And the house is never a fucking mess because I'm home to take care of that. And I'm also finding time to do the creative stuff that I need to do too. So yeah.
So as much as like one thing can make everything shit, what thing or like collection of things do you think got you back?
Oh, I'm about to make
If
Heather cry.
I was about to say, if you
Uh,
fucking do this to me, like I had a feeling, and I'm not trying to like, I just had a feeling.
I'm I'm about to make Heather cry. Honestly, what really, really kind of shoved me back into, the swing of things now. Now I was making consistent content and everything, but honestly, what kind of kicked me into gear at the point, and I even sent messages to Heather, was like, I forgot how much I love editing and creating content, because I was editing our podcast for this last show. And I'm like, I forgot how much I loved doing this. And I could sit for hours and just edit. And it's so much fun, because that's how we are how we kind of work well together, because Heather is all about the marketing aspect of our podcast. I'm all about the behind the scenes, the recording of it, the editing, and of course I'll tell her, hey, you need to log in and do this commercial, because the commercial sucked. If those of y'all that listened to the commercial on our last podcast, the commercial sucked. Um, but just that stuff. So when Heather was like, okay, come on, let's do our podcast. And it wasn't like, let's do our podcast, and then it just kind of goes on the wayside. It was like, no, we're doing this today. Come on, let's do this. We're doing this today. And we started that again. So getting back in, her forcing me to get back into that, and us having this podcast again to kind of talk through things and all of that, kind of pushed me into going, okay, I really need to get off my ass and start doing things. And that's the thing. The podcast kind of jumped everything off. Not only not only that, Heather and I are talking every day again, and with her talking to me every single day and saying, hey, this is what's going on. This is what I did today. This is what happened to me today. This is, all of this stuff. And I'm like, yes, things are going great. And I really need to get off my ass and start doing shit again. So, I mean, that's the thing. The little things that your friends, and especially Heather's my best friend. She's my best friend, and I adore her. And
Youre is a bitch right now, but it's fine.
and the thing is she doesn't know how much she drives me to do better for myself, and to know that I deserve more, that I deserve to have what goals I have in life, because I'm this person that was like, okay, I'm 40 years old. I'm fixing to be 41 years old, and I'm barely getting into makeup right now. And who the hell's gonna want this? Because people that are my age, they don't have pink hair. They don't put color on their eyes and wear blue lipstick and all of that, and radiate the confidence that I do when I put something together. And I'm like, I love this, because you can tell when I love a look and when I hate a look. You can tell. I radiate everything, all my feelings and everything. Just, you can see it through my eyes. And just the fact that she's there for me, cheering me on, and is like, you can do this. You're you need to stop putting that in your head that you're way too old for this, because you can do this and you're good at what you do.
So fucking good at what you do. It's disgusting.
And I remember where I started, because I look at a picture and I'm just like, oh my God. I'm like, oh my God, I looked horrible and I thought that looked good. And even my husband says that. He's just like, he goes, yeah. I go, you used to say I looked good in makeup. He goes, no, because I did, but I didn't know what good makeup actually looked like. And now I see where you are now, and I'm like, that looks like shit.
You're so funny.
And so this is, that's the stuff that we talk to each other about. But, that's the thing, having a best friend that supports you no matter what, and supports you unconditionally, doesn't expect anything from you. And like she tells you, I like, because I'm a giving person. That's just what I do.
Maria just sends me shit, and I'm like, stop.
That's the thing. I like giving gifts. That's how I show my love. I could care less about receiving jack, but I love just to give gifts, because when I see something, and it doesn't have to be anything like extravagant. It's just seeing something, and it's like something little, and it reminds you of that person. You want to get it, and then just kind of send it along. So the sending part is where I'm having issues. I have a huge ass box over here.
I'm like legit bawling. This is so inappropriate.
No, it's not.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I mean, and it's very hard to find somebody that no strings. They don't want anything from you. They just want to be friends. And not only that, a person that I have such a huge and strong connection with, to be able to do things like this and not ever fight and get pissed off at each other. Because believe it or not, Heather and I do not fight.
Like when we're both doing stupid shit, the other one's just like, you should really stop doing this.
Yeah, I mean, like this is what I told Heather, and I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of what it was about, but I told Heather, I was like, okay, I am going to give you my opinion. I'm going to tell you how I feel, and then I'm going to shut up. You will never hear me say it again, because I support you, and I will always support you in whatever you do. And that's exactly what I did. I told her how I felt about it, and then that was the end of it. Until she comes and asks me for my opinion again, because then I will say something. But I mean, Heather is the first like real best friend that I've had
same.
that I honestly would die for.
I have never flown across the country for a friend. Like, I'm just like, oh, you don't live here? Cool. Like, I hope where you live is fancy right now. I hope the weather's good. Like, but like Maria and I make a point to fly to each. Like, we each fly at least. I feel like we've done it once a year, right?
A year.
Yeah. So, God, fuck off, Maria. So like mad at you right now. I'm not, but I am, but I'm not.
But I mean, it's true that you asked, and I told you, because I already knew what I was gonna say. I mean, the podcast and everything just kind of, it just jumped everything off, and then all of a sudden we started talking again, and I'm just like, we lift each other up. We're happy. We're genuinely happy when the other person has success. It doesn't matter if the person has more success or whatnot between them.
That's what it's about.
It's about, yes, they're doing what they want to do and they're getting it done.
Dude,
because you know what?
Seeing each other happy, like our friendship is like legit like a partnership. Like our friendship is like, we're like a fucking married couple in that way. Like I'm not even gonna lie about it. Like I'm happy when Maria's happy, and Maria's happy when I'm happy. And even if like Maria's going through something but I'm doing well, like she's cheering me on and like she's happy to see me doing well, and vice versa. Like when my shit is shitty and whatever, but Maria is like fucking killing it, like that makes me really happy. So in that way, we're kind of like a weird long distance marriage almost.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's pretty much, but it's never a competition. And when you have a friend that it's not, and I've had friends that, you cannot be doing better than them. You
Yeah.
fucking cannot do better than them. And we have things. She'll be doing better than me. I'll be doing better than her. You know, sometimes we're doing great at the same time, but it's never, oh, you know, screw you because you're doing
No,
better than me.
it's not a
It's
competition.
yeah, it's not a competition. It's a relationship, and it's more of, you know, we want this for each other. So, and I've never really had a friend that didn't want something from me.
You know what's so funny?
I have, but not to this extent.
What's so funny is like I try to tell people like that I am the type of friend that once you get me, you're stuck with me, and I will love you unconditionally, and I will support you, and I will cheer you on, and I will be your number one. Like that's how I am, unless you make it so that I'm not. And like if that's how you play it, like that's cool. And I'm not saying like you're playing me and you're treating me bad, but like I've just always been that kind of person. And so I feel like you hear that from people often, but
Mm-hmm.
often people don't deliver on that.
Yeah.
Like I didn't ask Maria to buy me a fucking mic for this podcast. I didn't ask Maria for makeup. I don't ask Maria for anything. Like she doesn't have to support me. She doesn't have to like be kind to me, or her and her husband don't have to like offer me a place to live 3 times a week. Like they do that because like she said, like it's a friendship that is like legit, like
Mm-hmm.
unconditional.
Yep.
Oh
That's the point, because you don't ask for it, you know, and
yeah.
you don't expect it, and then you don't just, you know, oh, this is what you're going to do for me, and that makes me want to do more, you
Well,
know.
yeah, and I know this about myself, and I used to look at it like a weakness, and sometimes it can be, but like honestly, whatever. Like I don't ask for help. Like I don't ask for things. I don't ask for money. Like, and I've hit some fucking rough times this year, and like I don't ask for anything. Like I was raised to like fall on my face and pick myself back up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm grateful for that because it made me a stronger person. Like I literally had this conversation with my mom today. I was like, I'm so grateful that all four of my parents, if they couldn't agree on anything else, they let me fail. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
so grateful that my
Yep.
parents let me fail because I had to learn how to fucking take care of myself. And because of that, I don't expect things from people. I don't ask people for shit. I don't, like if you want to do something for me out of the kindness of your heart, I'm gonna feel guilty about it. Like I don't know, it's like it's
Right.
who I am. Like I don't know why I'm like this, but it's how I am. And like Maria she's just kind to me, and there's no fucking reason for it. But I'm grateful. I
i'm just I'm just a nice person, and you know, with nice people, they tend to get stepped on a lot, and I get stepped on a lot. Up until I got Mark into my life, that's now the guard dog of this person. He's like, you are not doing that. And then it, you know, of course, now he's like, oh, it's Heather, okay.
yeah, yeah.
So I mean, you know, and everybody should have a friend like Heather.
Well, it was so like today I was talking about like I was venting on TikTok because that's like Twitter is like the stream of consciousness for like typing, but like TikTok is like the stream of consciousness for like videos. I feel like, and like I went on this rant, and like the last thing I said was like the lessons I got out of this morning, and one of them was like caring is cool, like. This fucked up idea that like not caring is cool is
Yeah,
ridiculous. Like,
right.
oh well, don't care about things because you won't get hurt. Like, I would rather get hurt time and time again and give a shit than be fucking empty inside. Like I would rather push you to be better and push you to be a good person and care about how you feel and care about what your well-being and get nothing in return than not give a shit. Like that just doesn't make
Right.
sense to me. I don't about anything, like my family, my friends, my job, like other people that I don't even know. Like I just care. And like oh, I don't want to get emotional. Like, I don't, this podcast really took a turn. But, like, it's just so easy to just give a shit. Like, I've been posting, last week we had Lene on, and I really want to get her roommate, Igami, on. He's the one who does, he's a producer, and he's so sweet, and like he's making me cry, which is also fine. But what was I gonna say? That totally escaped me. What was I talking about? My brain stopped because
Oh,
I'm
you were talking about how it's not hard to be a
Oh,
nice.
yeah, like people were being weird about like I got weird messages like really and like weird faces and like weird emojis in response to me posting music from these people, and I'm like, what? Like, I would want people around me who like my work and what I do to share my art, and just because their art is different than mine doesn't mean I'm not going to share it. Like, Igami's
Mhm.
fucking music, like, what I was not expecting. What I found, like, I mean, not to say that I like expected less, but like that dude's voice is amazing. Like, I wasn't expecting that voice come out of him, and like Linnea's music I really love. So like I share those, especially like because we just had our podcast. Like, yeah, like it's fresh, but also like she's an artist who's working on growing. He's a producer slash artist who's working on growing. So, and they are people who can grow on a global scale. So why wouldn't I share what I like? Like,
Well, not only that, she's honestly a nice person. She is
dude,
such a nice person. I absolutely love her. I don't talk to her as much as you do, but I love her. And of course, I'm always on her stories, and I'm like commenting. I'm always commenting on all this stuff. But
yeah,
she's a genuinely nice person, and
yeah.
um,
I
it
got
was
zero bad vibes from her.
yeah, I know. And it was just so good to have somebody on our podcast, especially our first guest. That was just completely a nice person. And you don't understand.
Same.
And we're like in this world, and God, everything just we're always going off on a tangent, but we're like
It's
in this
fine.
world of we're over here behind our computers, and we're typing all this stuff, and we're saying shit that we normally wouldn't say to a human being in front of their face. It pisses me off. It pisses
Yeah.
me off. Like I go through daily, and even I'm on Twitter. I'm on Twitter mainly for, business purposes, but I do like connect to a lot of, like, Samantha March is on there, and I absolutely adore her. And like I said in one of my podcasts, she probably thinks I'm stalking her, um, but I'm not. But that's why I'm on Twitter. But Twitter is like, it is so bad for your brain, because all of the negativity that is on
Twitter's
there,
terrible. Yeah.
people tearing each other down, and all of this, it drives me nuts. And like, let me put an example of things. Like, okay, I'm a person who was 200, or no, almost 300 pounds. I've lost weight, I've gained weight, I've lost weight, I've gained weight. Okay. But I started losing weight consistently. I started feeling better about myself. And, I've started posting pictures, like full body pictures, basically of documenting how I'm getting in. And Mark has a solution to what happened. So I post makeup looks, and I always have it of my face, of course, because you really don't show your body on there. And I got to the point where I wasn't even huge. I wasn't even a huge person when this had happened, but I posted about because I lift weights. I do lift really heavy weights, and about how I'm getting definition, and I'm finally starting to shed some of the fat and stuff. There was a guy that was following me, and he had followed me because I had, have a
Yeah.
pretty face. Especially when I have makeup on. When I don't have makeup on, that's a different story. Anyway,
Whatever.
I'm just,
Shut
I'm
up.
just, I'm just kidding. But no. So I posted a full body pic in the gym, after a workout. And I'm sorry, I am not an Instagram workout person that has a full face of makeup and have these cute clothes when they work out. My hair is messed up. I actually did a workout, okay?
Hmm.
And so I posted that, and I was so happy because I was finally to the point where, my stomach was starting to lay flat. I was starting to, my stomach did not protrude over my boobs. I was wearing tank tops again. It was, I was in a great mood. One word, he says, yuck. And I'm like, okay, block, delete.
Right.
And I did that, but that shit stays with you. It stays with you. Um, when you do that, and my husband was just like, Mark just said, okay, Maria, just when you post that stuff, just turn off the comments, which is what I'm going to start doing, because I am going to start documenting it because it motivates me more. But the thing is it's sad. It's sad because I've come a long way, a long way. And even my son said it. I was like, because I explained to him what had happened. And he's now, we're kind of letting him into this whole social media world and everything. Okay, we sheltered him because I want them to stay innocent as long as possible. But now he's, in with everything. But I told him what happened, and I'm like, you know, I was so happy and so proud. I'm so proud of how far I've come. Fucking A, why can't you just let me be
Right.
proud of myself?
Right.
And he was like, you should be proud. Because he sees how much I struggle too, and he's the same way. He's a mini me, so he's got the same eating disorder I do. Um, but you should be proud of that. And that's the thing. You wouldn't walk, see somebody out in the world and just come up to their face, and some people do, and they're just jackasses, but you wouldn't do that and immediately say something like that. But since you're behind a computer, you're going to say shitty things.
Do you know how
And
easy it is to just turn around and be like, good for you? Like, not you, but that guy. Like,
right. Or you know what? Just keep scrolling.
right.
If you think it to yourself, think it to yourself, but
It,
keep scrolling.
it takes so
It's not
much
going to,
more
yeah.
energy to be a dick.
Yeah, I know. So I mean, and that's the thing. That just kind of, that's when I went off on a complete rant on Facebook, because not only that, but I was seeing, on one of my favorite YouTubers, I was seeing so much negativity on something that she posted, and I'm like, oh my God, it's just a picture, it's just a post. They're
Yeah.
not sitting there saying racist slurs and stuff on there, then that's when I'm just like, okay, I'm not going to follow, unfollow.
Right.
But um, that's when I went on Facebook, and I'm like, is it so hard these days to just be a decent human being? To just be a decent human being?
Being kind is cool.
Yeah, is it so fucking hard? Is it really, is it hard? It takes more energy for you to sit there and type up this mean response. And I've been to the point where I'm so fed up and I'm just mean. It takes a lot of energy to be a shitty person, okay? It just
Yeah.
does. So, and we're in this generation where it's like just so awesome to be a shitty person, and I want to get away from that. I
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah.
Because it's just, being negative, it puts everybody in just a bad headspace.
Yeah.
It will put even a happy person in a bad
Well,
headspace.
that's kind of where I've been a lot this year. Like,
Mm.
just around a lot of negativity and like self-pity, not just myself, but others. And it's just like, it weighed me down. And then, like, kind of like you were saying, like, we kicked off this podcast. Oh my God. I'm still like recovering from my ugly cry. We kicked off this podcast, and then shortly after, I don't know, I took some time to myself to just do things that made me happy. And like, we kicked this off, and Maria and I, like Maria said, like, we're talking every day. I took some leaps, and I just started asking people, like, do you want to be on our podcast? Do you want to be on our podcast? Do you want to be on our podcast? And like, I've been talking to people, and it's interesting, like, like, it's so easy to be kind. And number one, people have been very kind. Like, even if they're not responding to like, oh, do you want to be on our podcast? Like, they're still kind to us or to me, like when I speak to them. Um, and then like this week, I'm not gonna lie, like this week leading up to Christmas has been pretty fucking crazy because we did this podcast, right, with Linnea last week, and then I just got inspired to sing again. Like, I haven't done music in forever, and I know it makes me so happy. And I I don't know. Like, when I did music before, I was like 19, and it was like my family and my friends were like, "Oh my God, you're so good." And it was like, "Okay, cool." But you feel like they have to say those things because they're
Mm-hmm.
your family and your friends. So like, just to like have people that I don't know be like, you should pursue music. You should, like, literally while we're recording this podcast, like, you should pursue music. Your voice is incredible. Like, you're talented and whatever. I'm just like, it's not like an ego boost. It's more just that support for something that, number one, you're either born with it or not. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Um, and then
I can't
like,
carry a tune, so.
well, no, like, and like that's one of those leaps that I took, and to have these people who blew up over the last few weeks, but also these other people on here, just these kind people. I have not had a single like a mean thing thrown at me. I do like that about TikTok. People seem to just scroll if they don't like it, and they're nice if they do. But it's been really good for me because I've had a lot of doubt this year, like just a lot. And so like to get back on here and then to have people just like rooting for me who don't even fucking have to, like, people don't understand how like the smallest fucking comment can make the
Mm-hmm.
biggest, just like that small comment to you stuck with you and made you feel like
Mm-hmm.
shit. Like, small positive comments
Yep.
fucking like, I don't want to cry again. I'm
It's
just like
okay.
really fucking happy. Like, I don't know the last time like I felt just really good about everything, like everything, and like confident in everything. Like, my relationship with my kid, my relationship with Mike, and like, no, it's not romantic or whatever, but just like where we are and like how, like, where our understanding is, like we're on a really good like page with our understanding of like where we're at, and like my friendships, and then like these other relationships that I'm making, and my relationship with myself, and like so much shit is just like making sense and coming together. And it's just like, I feel like, God damn it, like it's about time this year fucking looked up. And whether it's the last 2 weeks of the year or the last
Mm-hmm.
day of the year, I don't care. Like, I'm just happy there is something positive happening. Like, I don't know. I won't go off on that because I'm just going to keep crying. I'm just really grateful. Before I forget, um, to not to, well, yeah, tomorrow, because this comes out on Christmas. So, December 26th, Linnea's song, is it Champagne or Champagne Showers? I don't remember, one or the other.
She said champagne showers.
Okay, that pops off. I think
And
she was,
26th is Thursday.
yeah, 26. So that's the day after Thanksgiving. Jesus Christ, I'm still in November. The day after Christmas, Linnea's new song comes out 12 p.m. or a.m. Eastern time. That song drops, so that's pretty dope. Check out
Oh
Igami.
yeah, because this one will be on Christmas. That's right. So tomorrow. It would be
Yeah,
tomorrow
it'd be
if
tomorrow.
you're
Yeah.
listening to this on launch day.
Yeah, so December 26th, Linnea's new song. Check out Igami and his music. Follow them both everywhere. Linnea Music, it's at Linnea Music, and then at Beats by Igami or Igami Music, just depending on what page you're on. Um, Follow our podcast on Instagram. I'm dying. Um, and we will continuously post pictures and just updates about what's going on with the podcast, like things that coincide with what we've spoken about, things that are going on in our lives in the week. We'll probably put up some cool Christmas stuff. I don't know. I'll figure something out. But yeah, that's all I had for announcements. Sorry. I was like, let me get those in before I forget.
Okay. And actually, like right there, we probably should cut it off because
2 hours.
this podcast is going to be the longest podcast we've ever had. But I think the reason why is because this is something that Heather and I are really so passionate about.
Girl thing.
Yeah, I mean, self-care and goals and getting your head right and making the most out of what you have and not thinking that you can't do something. Um, because honestly you can, and I'm pretty much proof of it. So I
Yeah.
mean, you can do it if you have a passion for it and you put enough passion and the work. Okay, you're not just going to go on and on, you know, if you put the work in, and be consistent, you can get what you are looking for and what your goals are. And it doesn't have to, you don't have to do the conventional thing because my life is very unconventional.
Same.
So, but yeah, we are going to end it here, and I really do hope that this one gets quite a bit of listens because
It's a
it's
good
it's a
one.
really it's a really important one to me, and I'm going to say that on all of my social media that
Hmm.
it's going to be so. And guess what? Heather finally got me onto TikTok.
Yes.
I have nothing on there right now,
Okay.
but maybe I will eventually have something. Right now, I'm just kind of scrolling through and seeing everybody that's on there. But yeah, so we love you guys and I hope you have had a Merry Christmas. This will be out actually Christmas morning, so I hope you have a Merry Christmas if you do listen to us when it actually launches. If you don't, then I hope you had a Merry Christmas. So
Yeah.
I love you guys, and I will. Sorry, we will. I'm in video mode right now, where I'm saying
You're
bye to
good.
my audience, but we will see you in our next podcast. Bye,
Yep.
guys.
Bye.